Today we want to talk with Fireball and show off some of this cool new stuff that we plan for the next version of AE2. So I guess to start, let's talk about kind of like what led us to come up with this new idea for what we're going to show. I mean, a lot of people have been trying out new mods and
hey,
there's
I think that was
new,
one of the changes right there that just
right.
came in.
That's a random meteor spawns for multiplayer servers.
Yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of people have said and complaints that I've heard is that when you're playing on a multiplayer server, people go on and they get all the meteors, they get all the presses, and there's none less left for anybody else. So we had thought long and hard about how we could make it so those resources are renewable, and I think this one works.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you can definitely find meteors as long as they keep spawning in the world. So I think it's definitely going to work as a solution to that problem. And I mean, a lot of moving on the like people like Britannia and stuff, and one of Britannia's claim to fame is how little it uses GUIs, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hear a lot of people praise it for that, and I mean it definitely adds to that level of immersion that you don't see with a lot of other mods. Whenever you're constantly inside of your GUIs doing different things, so we kind of wanted to take a page from that book, and I think we came up with some pretty cool ideas.
And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't this a request that somebody came up with a while back, and at the time we were like, not really possible?
Exactly. A long time ago, even back when AE1 was still out, and even after AE2 came out, I've gotten the request several times to implement a feature very similar to this. And at the time when we originally considered doing it, it was just totally impossible, or at least we thought it was. But I mean, after thinking about it, we eventually came up with a way to actually do it.
One person mentions in chat, and we probably should have clarified it with the meteors. Someone's like, "What if they spawn in your house?" Well, the meteor code has checks in place to make sure that there's not structures and things nearby that would prevent it from spawning.
Right, and that was true before, and it's true in the new version that also spawns them, randomly. So that will remain the same. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and show what this is all about. So,
right.
as anyone who's familiar with AE2, knows, you access your items through your terminal. So, I'm going to go ahead and use my terminal. Okay, so this is new.
Yep.
We are actually inside of our network now. Now, of course, before we came in, we didn't have any items.
Yep. Should I go put some in while you stand over here?
Sure.
Okay, let me go back and put some in. I don't know. How about putting a stack of red sand? That sounds good.
Sure.
For the music, but...
So,
all right, so I'm going to drop a stack of red sand in, and there we go.
All right, and now we'll see that the red sand is now showing up as it is added to our ME network.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Let me add a couple more things.
Sure, why not? Just throw in maybe a couple different stacks of a couple different items.
Here, I'll put some gravel and some wool. Now let's see what else. Glowstone.
Sure. That works.
Alright, I'm just going to toss that in now. Here we go. We should see it appearing.
Yep, it's coming in.
And yeah, there's a lot of pillars in here.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on in all directions. And you can pretty much just find, if you ever could consider what in the inside of an ME network would be, I mean, I think that this kind of is, it's kind of an interesting visualization of that.
It is. And anything that you put in will show up over there. So if I go and add, let's add some, those are vanilla items. We have thermal expansion here too. Let me add like, I don't know, like, add some sponges. I guess they don't stack. What about orange rock wool? There we go. So when I go back,
that pretty much looks like normal wool though.
I know, it's hard to tell. We don't have Wayla installed, so one thing that I would like to show off for my viewers here is that, can you go back and add stuff? And
oh sure, I'll show you.
Yeah.
All right. So I will click on the terminal inside of there to come back to the overworld.
And this will probably change, and this is just what we set up for now.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an early, tech demo of the idea that we're trying to do.
It is really cool to be able to go inside your cells and see what you have. We're inside your network.
And, all right, here comes some controllers and some.
Oh yeah, there's some Flux blocks and some controllers. And it's not really too bad on the network. I see some people going, "Oh, this is gonna be horrible on the server." It just sends normal network packets, just like when you open up the controller to see what's in there.
Yeah, I mean, in all actuality, the networking code for this is actually very similar to the same code that's involved with the normal, traditional terminals for rv2 and rv1. So in all actuality, the networking code is very similar, and I mean, it's just kind of like having that GUI open. It just updates that, sends those updates, and you can see the changes, in real time.
Now, there's a couple of questions from chat that I'll pass to you, Algo. Someone was asking, can you live in here?
I really don't see why not. I mean, we anticipated that people would, ask about, how do you get to your items, and so we, built this ladder over here, and
so you'd be able to build ladders to go up,
right? And I mean, you could pretty much just build anything you really wanted in here.
Right now, they're not retrievable from here, but
right.
It's going to be something easy. I'm guessing probably something like just right click on it or break the block.
Yeah.
So you want to show how easy it is to build this, and we'll
sure.
Make a new one?
Let's build a new one, and we'll show exactly how how easy this is.
And as you can see, I mean, we built this off the ground so that way you can see that this isn't an April Fool's joke. This is, there's no secret spatial stuff or anything moving items over.
Right. Pick some of these.
Oh, you pick blocking.
Yeah. All right. We could just maybe fly over here. Just
on top of this mountain.
And just set up new network. Do a drive in.
You want me to put down like a storage cell?
There you go. All right, so that'll be the. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take an import bus and put it on a chest. And
okay.
We'll just extract some of those items while we're in there. Whoa. Oh, there goes another meteor.
All right, so I guess that shows that there's a little bit of bug. Let's go build it back over by the other one.
Yeah, that's probably safer.
It's probably because there wasn't a structure built there.
Yeah.
I'll do it right over here. User joined your channel.
Hello.
All right. So this is by spawn, so it probably will stay chunk loaded.
Yep.
Right, so Let's throw a bunch of controllers in there. And make a storage zone. Put that in. Alright. Going on in. Alright.
Wait a minute. Yep, there it goes.
Yep. So it obviously needed to start resyncing the the items from the new network. But as you see, it had started pulling these controller blocks in. And it's going to keep importing those. Probably should have put a speed upgrade. But
there it is.
Yeah. It took a while for the import bus to warm up.
Yeah. And there they come.
Yep.
It's really cool, and people are saying, why is this useful? And I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people have requested something like this. Plus, it's just a really cool way to be able to visualize your network.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a completely new way of looking at this your traditional ME network is just in a whole new way. I mean, people say that whenever we moved from AE1 to AE2, that we wanted to change kind of how people played and how people see the mod. And I think this is just a kind of just a further development down that path.
Here's some more questions, like how much will it cost to go here?
I really don't know at this point. There's obviously a lot of balance and ideas and stuff that still needs to be thought out. And at this point, we just thought that it would be fun to share our progress with this, which is why we haven't gotten all the features for interacting with the items and everything else in place yet.
Another good one is, what do the towers represent?
I honestly couldn't tell you exactly what the towers represent. We needed a way, to provide these, these walls for you to see all your items on. And and one of the ideas that kind of came up whenever we were talking about that is, along with the ideas that were initially submitted whenever we, that we kind of based the whole thing off of, is that they wanted, it to be like Tron or the Matrix, where you go in and you see these, this huge expansive area with all your stuff laid out. So
it makes me think of the Hackers movie with the Gibson.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You don't have to build these. This is all world gen. Another good one that someone noticed too, that actually we were talking about earlier today, was all the free quartz that you'd want.
Oh, right.
Which will be handled. Yeah,
of course, with the first thing you do whenever you start adding new features, is trying to get them to work the way that you do want them to actually get the features in place. And obviously, there's a lot to be desired as far as like whether or not you can remove or break any of these blocks. We have plans for how we're going to make these blocks invincible versus the blocks that you're going to be adding yourself to this world. So, we've got ideas for how we're going to take care of that, and a lot of this stuff is still placeholder,
yep.
Until we can get more time, into the development.
Right now, if you break the block that the item's stored in, it'll just disappear, but it doesn't disappear out of the AE system. Right now, this is all read-only, so that's still a work in progress. And yeah, it's really easy to change the durability of this stuff to bedrock, like somebody mentioned.
Right. Yeah, it's extremely easy to make some of those things unbreakable.
If we go back to our original one, it'll still be there. And there they go. All the items are coming in. When you do leave this, it does unload the dimension. So when you first come back, it has to load up the dimension. So it is a dimension. It's like a spatial cell dimension. So. The teleport thing is still a bit weird.
Yeah, we really wanted to do this video, and we were trying to decide whether or not we wanted to try and get the final teleportation, logic to get you back to the terminal that you started at, and kind of ran out of time, before we wanted to do the video. So
someone asked a really good question: if a lot of cobblestone will cause lag, and right now, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean,
we have a good way to demonstrate that,
right?
So.
And we're definitely going to show that. But yeah, at the moment there's obviously there's a lot of rendering going on for all these different items, and we need to find ways of improving that.
Oh, nice. Hey, while we've been working on this, there's we started off with 1 meteor. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. So there are settings for this too. So if you find that's creating meteors too frequently, you can turn it down a little bit. And it only does it on a multiplayer server. Actually, there's one right there too. So if it detects it's a multiplayer server, then it kicks on that code. Yeah, there's actually another one that just appeared right there while I was talking about it. What happens when you lose power while you're inside? I don't think that's anything that's been implemented yet.
Right. I think our plans for that is that it will kick you out of the cell. A couple of the other ideas were, like potentially like locking you away or whatever. But I think as far as gameplay goes, it doesn't make sense to lock a player in their network like that. So probably we'll just throw you outside of the terminal.
And Mike Bald actually asked a pretty good question about have we considered making it a static dimension that's just visibly different to everyone. And originally it did start off that way. It was dimension -100. Mm-hmm. But the reason why it's now a new dimension for each AE system is, number one, it only creates the dimension if you create this terminal and right-click on it. So it doesn't necessarily make it unless you go there. So it's a feature that you add, basically, by creating the terminal. And the other reason is if you want to build in there. So if you want to have a private storage system that you build in, put a security terminal out here, only you can right click on it, there you go, you got your own little private world.
Exactly. And if we hadn't made those separate worlds, you could not manipulate that world at all.
Right.
We felt that was a very useful and a fun feature that really makes the whole idea shine a little bit better.
The teleport thing is still a bit iffy. Right now it's the terminal, but they get out.
Yeah. All right.
Anyone in chat have any questions? Or I mean, this is pretty much all that's been added so far. That's new and different. I mean, there's always new things adding, but and after everyone asks their questions, we'll show off a lot of items. All right, what are the interactions between this dimension and subnets, like the Super Soren drive? As long as it can see it in the terminal, like the terminal would normally see it, that's the same code that makes the items show up in this terminal.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, just build something real quick to show that off too. If we just threw a chest over here, throw an import bus on there. I'll just dump all of some of these items in there.
Is terminal inception allowed? How much AE per tick does it cost to update? I think right now it's just a couple AEs per tick.
Yeah, I don't think we've really ironed out that as far as
yeah, it's not balanced yet. Like Algo said, the first step is just to get it built, tested, get all the bugs worked out.
All right. So
it's using 0.5 AE per tick. What do you plan on calling the terminal? Right now it is called a item.appliedRNG62.itempart.teleportterminal.name. Probably teleport terminal.
Could be. All right, so I threw some Imperium gears in there. And...
Yep, they show up in here.
Yep, there they are.
Can you chisel it? Oh, hey, there's the gears. So these gears are from a subnet.
Right. So if we had used the teleport terminal on just the subnet, we would only see, you know, those items that are in that subnet. So the gears and the couple other of the, I think I had a few other items that were in there. But obviously, you know, the vast majority of these other items would not have shown up if we had used the teleport terminal with the subnet. But since we're on the main net, we, you know, we can see everything.
Here, I'll put a teleport terminal on this one so that way we can see it. So I'm in the subnet now, and so now you can see all I see is the gears and the things that are in that chest. What if the ME system turns off while you're in it? It would kick you out.
Yeah, that's our end goal plan for that, I think.
Yep, so in this one, we only see those endearing gears may make a way out. Will different terminals on the same network take you to the same... It'll take you to the same dimension.
Right. Because they're going to be the same network, so everything that's in that network will be the same world.
So what is this for? It's just a way to visually see your items in AE. So like Algo was saying at the beginning, it's basically a GUI-less applied logistics system. Could you make the meteor compass point to the return terminal in the dimension in case you get lost? That's actually not a bad idea.
It is. It's not too bad.
It's also 0, 0. So if we look at the coordinates, which is hard to see, but there we go. 0, 0 is the exit as well.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad idea. Right now, the meteor just spins in a circle because there's no meteors in this world. But yeah, we can make that work. How would this work with a super soaring drive? Well, you would see a lot of things. Could you imagine like someone like Dyer's or my AE system? There would be a ton. This thing would just go on forever of items.
Yeah.
This is too awesome to be real. Well, you know, that's why we're doing it. We built it a few times on stream here. This is absolutely real. This isn't any type of trickery, and it's other than the teleport not working, right? When we implement MCP? When I see MCP, I think Minecraft coding back. Can you demonstrate the infinite cobble? If there's no more questions, because it will lag us out, we can demonstrate that. Yep. Is it also... let's make it possible to include automation inside the world. Right now, there's not any way to interact with the items.
Right now.
Right now.
This is
very
totally
early... Planned. All right, so I do have the creative storage cell on me. Right. Should we end with a bang?
Sure, why not?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop in the creative storage cell. So that's 8 million cobble. And there, look at these pillars. This is just so awesome. I get a kick out of the rendering because it's rendering the items outside the render distance, which is a bug. But you can see all the cobble.
You can just see it go all the way into, you know, the fog at the end of the vision field, and
my frame rate is what, 4 in here? Yeah. So it's the only reason why the frame rate right now is really laggy is because it's rendering all these items. It shouldn't be rendering those items that far away. It should only render it when you're really close to it. So this is a bug. We know about it. But like this is why it's not on Forgecraft. It's because it's too early of a release, but I just thought it'd be cool, especially with Algo being around, to show off some of these new cool features.
Yep.
It's only laggy there, so it's not lagging the server. It's just
yeah. This is just rendering lag caused by we're just rendering too many items. So if we go back to the overworld, it's, you know, runs just. So you
can see we're 20 TPS even in that storage cell. So that network, and you can see it is called ME network, so you know that it's not a storage one. But and if I take it out, it'll be fine. We go back. There's no more cobblestone here. Yeah, that was kind of that was like a lot of cobble. That was like what, 8 billion. I think this, or is it actually infinite?
It's either well, it's technically it's infinite because the
the cell doesn't delete
right
the
because
item
the
stack.
cell doesn't delete the items, but I think it registers as like either 2 million or 2 billion or something along those lines. Which,
but if for those who are developers and stuff, think about the APIs in this, where you can change where items are located, maybe have signs. There could be all kinds of different things that can be added onto this to make it show up and make really cool things.
and we just have a ton of ideas for how to expand on this and to really take it further.
Yeah. So if anyone else doesn't have any other questions, I'm going to wrap this up on my side. Does anyone? Yeah, it's all, and all the lag is client side right now. So any lag that's in there, it's all client side because the server is not really doing anything here. There's nothing here that's on server side. It's all visual client side. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done in here to make it not so laggy, but it works now for the most part, which is nice. I mean, I'm mostly getting 60 frames per second here, which is what I lock it to. Is there truly an end to the cell? No, this goes on right now. Definitely, but the plan it'll be based off how much storage you have. So if you have a 1K cell, it will only be 1K worth of size. Those are usually things that you lock down at the end.
Right.
Estimated time of release.
Yeah. We don't do ETA.
Yeah, ETAs are... Because if you don't meet the ETA, then everyone's like, you said it would be out soon. You're complete noob. What's rv3? rv3 means release version 3. So right now, AE, the public version, is rv2, which is release version 2, and we're in beta, and I think the latest stable is 18. It will be before Half-Life 3. How many items can you have? It's unlimited based on your storage. Any visualization of auto-crafting in these dimensions? No, there's no auto-crafting. I don't know if... well, I mean, you can see it auto-craft on the front of the molecular assembler. Any comments on that? Or
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really considered it up to this point. I mean, as far as like what kind of things you might be able to do with that, I mean, there's definitely some possibilities of maybe seeing that processing in action, or going into some way of building something to represent that. I'm not sure, as far as what we might do with it. It's definitely something that to think about.
Right. Somebody asked if you can sleep in the dimension. The answer to that's no, because it's always daytime here, as
Right.
you can see by the white.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any plans to reduce lag? Yeah. Right now, the reason for the lag is it's rendering the items visually, even if you're not looking at them. As you saw by when we put the cobble in here, it went on infinitely. It just needs lots more coding as far as the rendering goes. So it should only render the items that are in your visible area.
I mean, whenever we first, set up their item rendering, it was only rendering them if they were, like 8 feet in front of you, of course. That was just terrible. So, we had to expand on that so you could see them further down the way, but in trying to do that, we ended up breaking it a little bit too much, and now it pretty much renders them no matter what.
I found a virus in the system.
Oh, no. No.
Mobs don't spawn here, but if they did, that would be kind of funny. Have the mobs target your items. What did all the clouds represent in this dimension?
At this point, it's more or less just kind of a stylistic choice, I guess you could say. Whenever we initially did the concept for the dimension, we considered doing the same black as the spatial cells, for instance, but we felt that obviously that just kind of felt too locked in, to be part of the, this visualization of your storage system. So we ended up deciding to changing it to white. And the first time we got all the white rendering code and everything else working, we saw the clouds up there, and we're just like, that's kind of a neat kind of accent.
And what's the point?
Just being white.
Yeah. Someone was asking what's the point of having it in a dimension. It's this. So if you want to build your next house here, I mean, you can build a little house in here. Here's a Buyer 9x9. Of course, we don't have any mods in here except for thermal expansion, so building is a bit on the hard side. And someone asks, since April Fool's is an hour away, this has to be an April Fool's joke. And no, we've demonstrated this is all real. There's no trickery or special stuff. This is all code. This is real. It exists. Apparent from all my push logs and the algo's push logs for the code. Anyone else have any questions? Or you put a security terminal in the dimension and lock yourself out. Well, if you place a security terminal, it's locked to yourself, so you can't ever lock yourself out, but you can definitely lock other people out. Right now, the security terminal isn't functional, so I can't demonstrate that with this, but in the future, that will be one of those things. So if you want to have a private dimension that only you can go to,
it'll work just like it works for all the other traditional terminals.
User left
so
your channel.
That'll basically be the exact same concept. It'll work just like you'd expect it to.
Oh, I am building a 9x9, but here we go. Just to demonstrate that you can do this. You can build in here. It's just normal world. Yeah, I know there's a bit of echo. Torches. Can you pick up the blocks on the shelves? Not yet. But you can watch them update if you take them out of the system. When is Zycraft coming out?
If we knew.
If we only knew. We'd all be rich. All right. Well, let me go wrap it up in my stream. I'll be right back. I'll go.
Alrighty.